Oh, well, inclusivity seems to be the word of 2023, or in fact has been around since 2022. And we've been hearing it for a very long time. And most corporate organizations that I work with, HR policies that are coming into place, there is a proper policy around DEI that's now coming in. Just the fact that organizations and the awareness is really going up, it means the empathy automatically now has also increased. And I really personal take on the word empathy for me is the more you're aware of things, the more empathy happens.
Absolutely.
Empathy doesn't occur without awareness. And
Absolutely.
because awareness is so high now, empathy exists. But so many times, in fact, for that matter, when we got in touch for KIA and we spoke about the SMA, I didn't know anything about SMA at all. It was the first time I heard of what SMA is and how it impacts. And after we spoke, I read up on it and etc. So otherwise I had absolutely zero awareness that something like this affects children and it is life-threatening or a terminal disease. Awareness is what created empathy. So I just feel they're very interlinked. Offhand talk about SMA to me, I probably may not have the same reaction I did.
When you say the lack of awareness, now that is a concern, right? Now we are aware of quite a few things nowadays, thanks to social media, right? Why is it that the outside world is not getting aware of it? And I'm probably just taking one case, right? It's just SMA here, and I'm talking with the medical lingo here, and there could be so many other topics, right? Where the injection is not happening. What is your take on it?
I think it also could be the fact that, say for example, if I only take SMA right now as an example and not the other, and there could be multiple other
so
issues.
Many, yeah.
So many diseases that we are unaware of and which we are hearing of these days. So many people who need help and can get help, but there's nothing that falls into your ear. So for me, the fact that minority or maybe the percentage of the population that is going through it could be lesser. It's pretty much like how the Pareto principle works, where 80% of the awareness will create 20% of the result. But because the 80% awareness is not happening is because 20% of the population is the only one that is out there. Now, let's say, for example, even if you take an LGBTQIAI+, until 3 or 4 years back, where was it? There have been transgenders who have been part of our society for
forever.
Years.
Yeah.
Since the time we were born, and they used to come during our birth, etc. And maybe beyond that and before that. How come never at that time there was any noise about the LGBTQI or the trans equality or creating a new gender? It's always until that one person takes charge and says, I want to change the world, bring in awareness. So amongst the 20%, you'll probably find that 1 or 2% of the people who want to come and make an awareness campaign about it. And slowly and steadily as time went by, of course, now we have access to social media, there's Google and there's YouTube Docs. Everything is at a fingertip. There was no access like that. So multiple factors could be a reason as to why there is no awareness.
So it is ridiculous the way human beings react when they don't know something, right? And it is panic. It is absolute panic. And that is what I think somewhere comes with exclusion of information and lack of awareness, like you said. If we do not talk today, there will be more Monishas and there will be more chaos amongst us when it is extremely preventable. So one of the reasons why I felt we need to at least talk is because it is not such an exclusive topic. It is not. Trust me, if 1 in 40 people are walking out there and there is a possibility that, every second couple or third couple could be an SMA carrier and both have to be, right? And there is a 25% chance of their child being born with it. And eventually they will have to crowdfund for crores. Who wants to do it? In terms of the regular, just the general or the broad classification of inclusivity and how people feel with their existence, in a society like ours, in India, in a progressive place like Mumbai, leave alone the villages. What's been your brush with it? Have you felt lack of it, enough of it? It doesn't matter to me kind of a effect. How has it been for you?
So existing society can be very difficult, even for irrespective of your caste, your gender, your abilities, your non-abilities. In general, our society belongs to a very judgmental and a very patriarchal form of association or establishment. So no matter who you are going to have to make your space in the society and find a way to look more acceptable, be more acceptable. Come on, forget about bigger aspects of inclusion. Here people are even fighting the fact that now, hey, I'm 50 and can I go without Botox? So even anti-aging, if there's inclusivity is missing, even about wrinkles, that is the most degenerative form of human life.
Right.
So when it comes to brush, I feel badi baatein bahut hai. But can we at least do the basics?
I swear, make it easier for us, right?
You talk about the gender equality, the pay equals, like you're saying, involving people, hiring more people of different orientations, etc. How about the normal ones? They are still being body shamed for being fat. You are still being told that you're fair and dark. Until date, there are weddings happening depending on the skin color.
Yes.
We as a society have a whole road to travel. We are not even at the tip of the iceberg.
I swear.
Right now, it is all up in the air. It's like a parachute. And we are human beings, which means we pretty much come from the background of our apes, who are our ancestors. So one thing they left us all with is the monkey see, monkey do attitude. The whole being started with the whole monkey see, monkey do. One organization started talking, the other felt FOMO of what if I am unable to do it, then the third started, then fourth started, then fifth started. Other than the whole major factor, and if you see the movie Tali, which is on the series Tali, which is on Jio Cinema, you'll know that was probably one of the biggest changes or the fights that happened, where they added male, female, other as a gender. That means inclusion taken into action.
Absolutely.
Everywhere else, where is inclusion taken into action? It's not visible to my eyes. I know lots of workshops happening. I know people are talking a lot of TED Talks happening. Everything is going on.
You don't see it.
I don't see the action of it. So as my brush or as my society, we are far away from it, like far away. The sad part is everyone's happy and busy talking about it. Also, why is hiring or having women called inclusivity?
I don't even know that, which is a good question.
We are not a different species.
I swear.
We are all human species. So why is it even considered as a part of equality or inclusivity? I mean, it's the most basic, that's what I'm saying. It's literally as if we are unable to even hit the basics right. And come on, I mean, even if organizations are now talking about it, how many people have actually hired LGBTQI+? I work with almost 150 plus corporates. Not even one I have come across till date. And out of those 150 corporates, I know at least 50 who are doing DEI work. So when you are doing lot of work and you're calling experts from all over to talk about DEI, does your statistics say that in this year we have hired so many specially abled people, or we have hired so many people from different orientation? No, there's absolutely no statistics, no numbers saying nothing. There is a whole big mandate that's going on in the corporate world that DEI must include all genders and ability, etc. In fact, one of the top 5 companies in the world is the one who started it in India particularly. But the only thing that really happens with this is it all stays in conversations.
Right.
And nowhere, everywhere they want to do it. Also, I just feel like, when these hiring campaigns happen, and these hiring campaigns are just happening the way they used to happen. People who are differently abled also have less confidence, also have the fear of being judged when they go for a literal hiring campaign. How about having a hiring campaign on inclusivity?
Right.
Then you see the numbers that will come in and say, hey, this is happening for us. We should go. And that's when you will be able to, now you're playing fair, because now you'll be able to interview all people, and then of course you hire as per competency, capability, whatever is required for a particular job description. But are those hiring activities happening? No. So I see corporates talking, I don't see corporates doing. I've seen, let's say for example, in demographics wise, Delhi and Mumbai compare kar lo. You will see more inclusivity campaigns happening, more action happening in Delhi as compared to Mumbai. Delhi has a whole community of LGBTQIA+. If you're talking only this one part of diversity, and then there are so many other ways you can be diverse and inclusive, including especially able children, or
so many
things. Mothers who are pregnant, who have taken a sabbatical for a very long time. We are struggling with even inclusivity there. Example, you've been a vice president now, you've taken a sabbatical for care, and you are a full-time mother right now, making sure your child lives on a day-to-day basis. That's your job, the biggest job in the world right now. And say for example, all goes well, there's a cure that comes out of for SMA, and Kia moves on with life, grows fairly healthily and you're at peace and you decide to go back to work.
I would have depreciated. Point number one, I would have been asked, or rather told that, this was a negative aspect of career.
How is this negative?
Exactly. There's no evaluation there. There's no matrix.
You are taking care of an ailing parent, taking care of an ailing family member, how is that something that goes against your CV? Should it go against your CV? If it was in my control at any point in time, like you said, there are so many cases like these which need attention, which needs a special attention. By special attention, I don't think there can be a protocol that can be maintained. Every case will be different and every solution will have to be different.
Right.
And probably having you have multiple departments, you have admin, you have HR, you have everything. HR is managing payrolls, is managing compensation benefits, is managing your talent acquisition and everything, the event management, everything HR is doing. If we leave this also on HR, it's going to go on the back burner. It's going to be a thing that happens once in a while, same way, 80-20. It happens rarely and hence it is not important. But if at all, organizations or universities or education system, wherever there is an association of people and people are involved, human lives are involved. If one can have an ethics or a code of conduct committee, which also takes care of the health, wellness of the employees, along with any other issue where that can be a special space that needs to be created for something like this. Non-existence of a special place is almost like you don't know which help desk to go to. But when it comes to a specialized case like this, HR will send you to admin will say we'll come back with permission from the management says we'll go to IT, and just like that you are going from one desk to the other, which is so unempathetic. And we talk about empathy, inclusivity and solution. So government would pay you less, but at least they'll have a pension
exactly,
or they'll at least have a PF scheme for you, something that has been designed for people who are out of job, who are retired, who could be away for so many other reasons. If you are a government employee, public servant, then you will get all of this
taken care of.
You are a public servant even when you're working with a private company. In fact, if you look abroad, if you look at my friends who relocated to Canada, to Australia, and they always tell me that one of the reasons why we would want to stay back into this country, and they've stayed there and made sure they get the PR, is because of the health benefits that they have.
Yes. I didn't even want to raise it. Yes.
And the kind of university expenses, that school expenses, everything, these are basics. So as a whole, as a country, that culture it's almost like, the foundation is just completely missing. And yet we are trying to build towers in the air without that foundation. We've never had value for human life.
That is where the question comes in, Karishma, where is empathy in the society? Where is it today? I saw this backlash from my education system. On day one, this child cannot get admission. Got it. Healthcare system, you go to, they say, genetic disease, sorry, we can't give you an insurance. Your child can't even get a normal fever or a viral. You can't admit the child because you have to pay from your own pocket. Now, every system, if they start disqualifying, in a country like ours, where are we expected to go? Who are we expected to talk to? And how do we start solving these issues? Or are we not supposed to solve it, right?
It's just human tendency. Till the time they do not see consequences occur of their ignorance, of other people's ignorance, of not knowing, of no reaction, jab tak apne pe nahi aati, tab tak koi kuch nahi karta. And that sadly is the very, very bitter truth of human life.
Right.
We only get to it till someone really close to us is hit with it, or till we are hit with it. Very rarely, how many people do charity? You tell me. Even if their domestic help takes extra food from the house, and you can actually catch hold of them and say, yaar, ye extra khana kha rahi hai, ya ek glass doodh zyada pi rahi hai. Not knowing ki khana hi hai na, kya ho raha hai, usse khana hi kha rahi hai na wo. If there's a glass of milk going in her daughter's stomach, whatever is happening. Why are we? There's no empathy with that. So till you don't realize what garibi is, what it is to survive in a situation like that,
it's not going to hit.
System, a whole system at large, doesn't hit.
Which now brings me to this last but not least, as an important question. And I ask this myself, to myself every day when I go to bed. if I had to ask you the same question, Karishma, in your own capacity, what are those two things, little things, right, that you could do to bring about a little bit of change, a little more inclusion, a little more empathy around you? What would those two things be that you would profess, that you would practice, you would walk the talk for?
I generally don't talk about any of these things simply because I just feel like कुछ किया है तो उसके बारे में ढिंडोरा ना पीटा जाए. Let it be a deed that works for somebody, and that's where it should end. Alternatively, ironically, I also feel that अगर ढिंडोरा नहीं पीटा तो लोगों को पता कैसे चलेगा कि ऐसा कुछ भी होता है, यहाँ पे मदद की भी जरूरत है. So I have polarity in terms of my value system to what is needed. So I am now consciously trying to make a change and say that, hey, this cause is happening, or this is something that is working. And, we all have something called as a circle of our control. And then we have something called as a circle of influence. And then there is something that's out of our control.
Exactly.
So a maximum our reach happens to be where this is my circle of control and this is my circle of influence. Even if you can reach out to your circle of influence and say that, hey, this is happening. Out of 20, maybe one, but you are adding that plus one. Numbers are never something that you should go by and see that how many people actually did something. It's the fact that how many people you actually spoke to. That's the power of probability, or the equation of probability. There's always a probability that 1% happens. And maybe I reach out to 100 people, and maybe out of those 100 people, I'll have 2 people who are willing to come forward. But if I was to not do that, and if I was to keep that information with myself, and say, let me do something. That's it. Meaning, if I do something, I will also hit my cap, right? That means
exactly
how much I can do right now. I know I can do so much, and do I want the situation to be capped? Instead, can I bring it to other people and let it go forward and let the power of probability operate? From mine, if I have to pick up 2 things, one is to build in more awareness, talk more about it, request for action. In both the cases, I will use the power of probability without expecting anyone to do anything. But you sometimes don't know that there are people who are empathetic. Even in the world that we live in, there are people who want to come forward, want to help. They're action oriented, and they just don't talk. Only probability to find them is the more you do it, the more probabilities that someone somewhere might react to it. If you need a change, one person can begin. It can't pull a change till the end. That if hospitals can start having these awareness campaigns.
Exactly.
For example, Hiranandani does something called as Hiranandani Hospital does like a diabetes week, and they'll do heart wellness weeks and all of those things. Even there, it helps. Whatever. Even diabetes can be a terminal disease. If it is not taken care of, it can take lives. There is something that awareness builds up. Action will eventually happen, but for that, awareness has to build up. And I really don't know how you do it. Respect for you standing up for your kid and giving up everything and what it takes, it's not a joke at all. It's not something that every mother is also capable of, let me tell you that.
What worries me is that I have lost so much in my life to this whole sequence of fate. But if I leave behind both my kids in this society to struggle the way that I am, I don't think I will be able to even sleep in my grave in peace, if you know what I'm saying, right? My existence is for me to continue to breathe and continue to do what I'm doing is important, because I do not want my children to do this, what I'm doing right now. Maybe even if they have a small society around them which accepts them the way they are, gives them enough cushion for their life, it's enough for as long as they
to see such a huge space for children who are able and who are all right, who are normal, to work with specially able children. Overall in their life, in their future, imagine the kind of empathy level that they will build, and maybe another mother somewhere will not have to struggle so much with people. I think even for educational institutes, such a huge space to work with kids.
Exactly.
They don't necessarily need to be a school that has specially able children. They can be inclusive by holding seminars, by holding camps where kids are invited to, like an empathy week that can be built up. Very popular saying that it says we are so busy driving the car around that we forget to fill petrol in it. The fact that the pace of life is so fast for most of us, and we are running from pillar to post, I don't know in search of what, but somehow we managed to make ourselves extremely busy by running social engagements and work engagements and family engagements. At the end of the day, forget about doing something for someone else. Medical checkups, health checkups are never on top, even for your own self. So that's how delusional we are.
I really appreciate all the time that you've given me today. It's been more than the promised amount of time, but that's why I like you so much, and I'll continue to like you. You have it in you to emote and sort of illuminate. Let me use the word illuminate lives.
And
thank you for touching mine.